Greetings, everybody. I am the Starving Martian, and I have just finished a delicious Thanksgiving meal. Let me just clean this up. Oh, this is really good. My compliments to the chef. And while we're on the subject of Thanksgiving, let's take a look at Mars Attacks. This, of course, is Mars Attacks the Holidays. We've been going through this book since late October, looking at the various holidays presented herein. So far, we've seen Mars attacking Halloween and Veterans Day. And today, naturally, Mars attacks Thanksgiving. Now, if you've missed any of those, just click on my name, Starving Martian. You'll find several playlists. It'll be under the Mars Attacks comic books. But as I've discussed before, this particular comic came out in several variant covers depicting different holidays. Mine actually happens to be the Thanksgiving cover, so I don't have to show off any additional cards or artwork. So here you go. This was my favorite cover of the bunch. And let's get right to the story. Oops, if I don't lose the comic first. Now, unlike the other stories in the book, this one doesn't actually have a title. It doesn't have its own name. It's just Mars Attacks Thanksgiving. And it's actually, the interesting thing about this story is it gets kind of political, and I don't think it meant to. But it definitely is, and we'll see in a moment how that is. This story, by the way, is stupid. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I like the art, but it's stupid. Now, is it stupid in a bad way or stupid in a good way? That's completely up to the reader. I got enjoyment out of it. I'd say I wouldn't want every Mars Attack story to be told exactly this way, but be that as it may, we start off at a Thanksgiving parade. It's not called the Macy's Day Parade, but you all know what it is. In fact, everything here isn't called what it is, but you know what it is. So we're introduced to Jenny and Todd. They're overseeing the festivities here, and they're introducing us to our balloon friends, who will actually become characters later on. Here's Brat Simpkins, and the 60s favorite Bull Pocky the Moose, and of course Porous Pete Pretty Pants. So we're setting the tone already. We see some reality show stars on a float, bickering and fighting. We see a float just of Wall Street billionaires, and here comes excuse me, here comes our special guest star for the story, Donald Triumph. Now, obviously, this is Donald Trump, and he is going to be featured heavily through the rest of the story. And the amazing thing is, this book was printed in 2012, so President Trump wasn't a thing yet. Nobody was seriously considering, the possibility. Now, regardless of where you stand politically, I just find this hilarious that and you're going to see they get political with him, which I think is kind of weird. So Jenny's brings out Donald Triumph to interview. He says that he's always happy to add his name to an event of this quality and make it even more qualitier. I'm also happy to provide live turkeys to be eaten after the parade. They'll be killed later today and fed to the worthy. Jenny responds, "Do you mean the needy?" "No, they're for me and my friends. You see, my father taught me that you can teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day, so poor people should go live in the sea." And so there you go. The politics of Donald Triumph as interpreted by IDW Comics. But the festivities are interrupted by some saucers that fly overhead and mutate the turkeys into giant, horrible monsters. This is interesting. Up to now, we've really only seen Mars, cause insects to become giant. There are some mutations of like some various dogs and things in some of the cards, but they don't really get that much bigger. So, but now we see these giant turkeys, and they start tearing into the place. people don't know whether to be scared or entertained. Is this part of the show? It's hard to tell. And in comes Dr. Stan the Science Man. Alright, obviously a stand-in for Bill Nye the Science Guy. Apparently him and Jenny used to have a thing going on, and she thinks he's just trying to get her attention, but no, it turns out that he's part of a group of scientists, a secret society of government scientists who have been planning for this day. Unfortunately, let's see, Donald Trump hasn't planned for this day. We see him on the phone to the president, who would have been President Barack Obama at the time. And this is rather hilarious. He's told by President Obama, "Oh, hello, Donald. Wish I could help you, but I'm busy looking for my birth certificate." And so, it's amazing what's still an issue today. But Donald Trump gets the bad end of the death ray. He declares that he's fried, obviously a pun on "You're Fired" from the Apprentice show. And somehow it burns everything but his head. Your explanation is good as mine. But Stan the Science Man has a plan. The plan is to execute Order 203. And so the saucers are flying around, having a good time. See a nice drawing of the Martian. We don't get to see too much Martian in this Mars Attack story. Mostly it's the saucers. So it's nice to have this one panel here. And we see this language here, which is translated for us as ha ha ha. When out of the blue, one of the parade balloons strikes back, complete with a catchy turn of phrase there, "Cowabunga, man." Apparently, this secret society of government scientists not only knew the Martians were coming, but knew that they were likely to strike on Thanksgiving in New York, and so created giant balloon robots to defend Earth. So here's the bull hockey, or whatever his name was, destroying spaceships with his antlers. Unfortunately for Earth, the saucers come complete with gripping claws to choke the living daylights out of the balloons. Why this wouldn't just pop them is beyond me. And I think it's hilarious to actually program the balloon robot to react in a way that has its tongue hanging out when it gets choked. So off with his head. Turkeys continue their rampage. Some of the saucers get booted around. But Charlie Beige here, an obvious stand-in for Charlie Brown, gets a Martian death ray through the chest, which leads Stan to mourn that he was a good man. Yes, we know. No, you're a good man, Charlie Beige. Alright, so just going down the pages, we see more floats getting toasted till we get to the point where there's still one saucer, but all the balloons are gone. All the balloons except one that can only be piloted personally by Stan the Science Man. And it, of course, is Superb Man. And Superb Man takes a hit to the chest, but is still able to use his heat ray vision, which destroys the final saucer. The day is saved. Stan and Jenny are back together, and I have to say, Stan in this picture is the creepiest thing I have ever seen. I think I'd rather live with Martians on this planet than this guy. Look at that. That's horrifying. The giant turkeys are cooked up to be fed to the homeless, which I don't think I would do. I'm pretty sure mutated turkey flesh can't be that good for you. And I don't know where they got that much stuffing. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And there's Donald Trump somehow hanging on and begging someone to pull the plug on him. Whatever, guys. So that was that was Mars Attacks Thanksgiving from Mars Attacks the Holidays. Mars Attacks the Holidays is definitely one of the goofier of the Mars Attacks books. So we've seen 2 out of 4 of the stories are rather silly. The Mars Attacks Halloween and this one. The other 2 are played a little more straight, so I guess they even out a bit. And again, I just think that the political commentary in there is interesting, especially because nobody knew at the time that it would be political commentary. So there you have that. So, guys, this has been The Starving Martian. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday. We will catch up with you next time around with yet another review. But until then, as I always say, keep watching the skies.